The second thing you need to be doing while you're fasting, and these are all equally important, don't feel like this is below Bible reading. The second thing you need to be doing is you need to be praying. Prayer is so important while you're fasting. I think prayer is an essential part of fasting. I've heard it said before that if you're fasting and you're not praying, you're really just starving. Because if you are not connecting to God, there's really no reason for you to be fasting. It doesn't really make sense because fasting is ridding yourself of the world. Fasting is getting rid of the fleshly things, but prayer is connecting to the Spirit. So we're fasting to rid ourselves of this world, but we're praying to connect ourselves to the next world, or to the heavenly world, you could say. Fulton J. Sheen says this very clearly and very articulately. He says, fasting detaches you from this world and prayer reattaches you to the next world. I also love what Matt Fraud says. He said, you could say that prayer without fasting is like boxing with one hand tied behind your back, and that fasting without prayer is, well, dieting. So you can pray without fasting, but fasting without prayer doesn't really make any sense. And then I think I already mentioned, but fasting without prayer is simply starvation. That's anonymous. I'm not sure who said that, but you need to be praying. Prayer is such an essential part. And I want to encourage you that as you're praying, connect with a local body of believers. If you are doing a fast with your church or maybe with your small group, schedule times throughout the week where you can pray together. Maybe you can't do it every day, maybe you can, but figure out times where you can pray together, because you're going to strengthen each other. You're going to be able to encourage each other with things that you've been hearing from the Spirit. I know a lot of churches, when they do a fast, the churches that I've led, when I was pastoring Oasis Church, we would do morning and evening prayer every day during a fast. So some people could come in the morning, some people could come in the evening, and we'd say, hey, whether you can come for 15 minutes or an hour, whatever you can do, just come. And there's something powerful about gathering together with other people. Maybe you can't do it in person. Maybe you can do it on Zoom. When we first released this course, I'm not sure when you're watching it, but when we first released this course, we're actually going to be doing a fasting challenge together. And we'll have some opportunities where you can come on and pray with me and my wife and some of our ministry partners. And so if you're watching this when it first goes up, make sure you look for the details on that. But find some times to pray with other people. But here's the big question. What should you pray for? Like, what do we actually pray? This is what people ask me all the time. Okay, Pastor Alex, I get that I'm supposed to pray. I get that we're supposed to, talk to God, but what do we actually pray about? Well, the first thing is I want you to go back to, why are you fasting? What's the reason for the fast? And if you go back to that, that's probably going to be the biggest part of your prayer time. Outside of thanksgiving and praise, because I always believe that we should enter into His courts with thanksgiving and praise. So I always spend a lot of time just thanking the Lord and praising the Lord before I ever make any request. But your requests a lot of times are going to be based around that reason for fasting. So is it your marriage? Is it salvation of loved ones? Is it supernatural provision? Is it freedom and breakthrough in a different area of your life? So you're going to be focusing on that. And, you don't have to get through all of it in a day. If you're going to be fasting for 3 days, 7 days, especially longer fasts, 21 days, 40 days, you can really slow down and take time of, okay, let's use, for instance, that you're going to be praying for your marriage. Well, maybe you want to pray for, all these different things. There's there's so many different problems with my marriage. Well, you can just choose, let me break that down. I'm gonna make a list and pray for 2 things per day or 1 thing per day. And you can really dive deep, because a lot of us are used to just praying so fast and I got to get it all out. But that's what's beautiful about this time of prayer and fasting, is you should have time to really slow down and focus, so that you can pray on every little specific issue. Beyond that, you can have different prayer points for every day. So I usually like to make sure that I'm praying for, other people and other things outside of just myself. I don't want to just always be praying about what I need or what I want. I don't want to seem selfish. I believe that God, He has enough power to do it all, but I also want to make sure that I'm praying for other people. So we're actually going to be posting with this course 21 different prayer points that you can be praying for if you're doing a 21-day fast, or if you're doing a shorter fast, you can just pick some from that 21 days. But we're going to be posting 21 days of prayer points where you can pray for different things every day. So maybe you want to pray for missionaries one day. Maybe you want to pray for your pastors one day. Maybe you want to pray for your boss at work, or you want to pray for family members or salvations. You can pray for different things each day. So we'll be posting those if you don't know what to pray for. But really, honestly, all of us have things that we worry about, and I think the scripture is pretty clear. It says not to worry about anything, but to pray about everything. And so what I normally do is what am I worried about right now? And the things that I'm worried about, I'll make a list, and that's what I pray about, and I bring it to God. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be this super, deep thing of, you're calling down the angels from the third heaven, and you're coming against the principalities. All that's great. Like, if you want to do that, go for it. But this course is for people that are kind of just starting out. And so you say, hey, I want to pray, for my mom right now. I want to pray for my daughter. I want to pray for my friend that's far from God. All of those things are things that you can be praying for. And then I always suggest that, no matter what you're praying for, I always think it's really important to cover your church family, your pastors, and then any ministries that you support, because we know that spiritual warfare is real. And I think it's very important for us to take time and pray for those ministries that we're connected to. So pray for your local church, pray for your pastors, for their families. You can spend a lot of time just praying for that. And then, of course, any ministries that you're connected with. And so I would be honored, during your time of prayer and fasting, if you would pray for me and my family, my wife, Hannah, and our 2 sons, and our ministry, Care Revival. But any ministries that you're connected with, you can just pray for protection. You can pray for, financial provision. There's a lot of things that you can pray for. So again, we're going to have some links in this course of prayer points. And then also on our website, we have a whole page dedicated to resources for prayer and how you can pray more. We even have some music playlists and different things that you can get into. So prayer is such a big part of your prayer and fasting time, because again, fasting detaches us from this world and prayer reattaches us to the next world.